Hi everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Today I'm going to show you a few new products in the Occasions 2018 catalog. I'm going to start out with this new stamp set. As you know, I'm a big fan of butterflies, so anytime we have products with butterflies on them, they're first on my list. This stamp set is called Beautiful Day, and the images are quite bold, so we're going to have fun with this. And one of the new products is the Brusho Crystal Colour. We have 5 containers here, and the card I'm going to make today, I don't have it made up ahead of time. It's in my head as to what I want to try, so we're going to experiment. Now, the first thing I always do when I get a new stamp set is I want this to stamp nice and clear, so I'm going to use a sanding block just to remove the manufacturer's film. And you can see that that changes the color of the rubber. It makes it lighter, so that means that you did take off that film. And then I usually bring in my stamping scrub and then clean it off. Okay, so now I'm ready to stamp with that. And I'm also going to be using a window sheet, a scrap piece of paper, and a piece of watercolor paper that measures 5 inches by 5 inches. What I want to try to do is create a card with the butterfly on here with some color that's going to spread with the new Brusho. And then we're going to fill in the butterfly after. So what I want to try to do is ink up the butterfly, and it doesn't matter what color. Let me turn it upside down. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to stamp it on this scrap piece of paper. Doesn't matter how clear it is. And then I'm going to layer that over my window sheet, and I'm going to cut it out. Now what I want to do is just cut close and then add some tape so it won't move on me. And you're going to understand more what I'm doing once I get this butterfly cut out. Okay, I'm going to tape that on there. And I'm going to cut a little bit on the inside of the black ink, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm kind of making a stencil by using the window sheet. And I don't care about the butterfly's body, so I'm just going to skip over that. I should have done this ahead of time, but I wanted you to see how I taped it to the window sheet so you could easily cut it without it shifting. And then we'll be able to reuse this. Okay, so there, and you can keep this for a mask for a future project also. So there's my window sheet butterfly. And now I'm just going to use a baby wipe just to make sure I clean this nice and neat. I noticed that my Stampin' scrub needs a good cleaning because it left a black film on my stamp. Okay, now we're going to take the watercolor paper, and I'm going to use my embossing buddy just to remove the static and any fingerprints. And then we're going to use the Versamark ink to ink up the butterfly. And I'm going to stamp that at an angle. And then I'm going to bring in the copper embossing powder. And I always keep mine in a container so I can, as you're putting it on here, it falls right back into the container. No mess. Almost always no mess. Okay, so there's my butterfly. Now I'm going to bring in my heat tool. Now the way to use this new Brusho Crystal Colour, you take your paper piercer and pierce the hole right in the center. I'm going to try with just one hole right now. I've seen people do 2 or 3 holes. So I've already added holes to these 4. And I'm going to bring in just a scrap piece of watercolor just so I can show you how this works. And you also need a spritzer with water. So what we're going to do is spritz the watercolor paper. And then you pretty much use this like a salt shaker. You just add the color on there and it spreads. The more you add, the more color. And then you can also go in and add more water to make it spread. But see how nice that is? So what we're going to do now is bring in the butterfly. And I'm going to use the window sheet that I created. And I'm also going to bring in a piece of washi tape. Now what I want to try to do is have the water coming in at an angle like this. So I'm going to place the window sheet right over my butterfly and add the washi tape right there to hold it in place. What I'm trying to avoid is adding color to the butterfly first. So now I'm going to add the water coming down at an angle. And let's try this color. And let's add more water. And then let's add a little bit of the yellow. And then the third color. Now I'm going to add more water just to make it spread. So it's giving it like a marbled effect. And you can see that some of it spread to the outside there. So I'm going to let this dry and pause the video. I think I'll add a little bit more blue over here because there's more blue at the bottom. And I'm going to pause the video and let this dry, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've let this sit for a little while. Some of it is drying well. Now I'm going to bring in a tissue and just open it up and set it down. And there is a little bit of color that did go into my butterfly, but not much. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. So now I'm going to remove the window sheet. And I will need to add a little bit here where the tape was, but that's not bad at all. I really like how that looks. It gives it a marbled look. Okay, again, I'm going to let this dry so we can continue working on the butterfly. Now I want this to be nice and dry to continue my next step, so I'm going to touch it just a little bit with the heat tool because it's almost dry. Flat. Now what I'm going to do is bring in an aqua painter. That way I can choose, because of the embossing, the water should stay where I selectively choose to color. I'm just going to pick and choose a few areas of each wing. And let's try the red this time. And you can also use use it this way and spread it. Oh, I really like how this works. This is so easy to add color. Okay, now let's do the other side. And I do still have color on the end of my aqua painter. It's probably going to get lighter as we go. So we'll just add a couple more specks of the red. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now let's move on to the next color. So this time I'm going to add more of that blue, and I do have a little bit of red here that's sprinkled over. So I'm not sure how well this is going to work. And of course the blue mixed in with the red will give it a purple tint. And I almost kind of like it the way it is actually, but so I'm just going to add just a little bit more water to wet this down so we can add the blue color. And I do like the way that's spreading. It does colors very easily. Okay, and let's see, we'll add a little bit more right here to darken this up. And now I'm going to bring in my heat tool one more time just to dry this up. I'm going to list what I'm going to use to finish up my card. I have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock, 10 inches by 5, scored in the center at 5. Daffodil Delight, 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then I've gone ahead, now that all my coloring is done, I've gone ahead and cut this to measure 4.5 by 4.5, and I centered my butterfly all the way around. I'm also using some die cuts. This says Amazing You. This is actually some dies that are going to be available. This one says Celebrate, the Amazing, and the You. These will be available in the Celebration catalog that you can earn for free, and that will start on January 3rd. And I'm also going to be using glitter and clear epoxy stickers. I had to look at the name there. These are all new products, and I don't know all the names by heart just yet. So let's go ahead and assemble the card layers. So fold the Night of Navy in half. Next is the Daffodil Delight. So this card size is a 5 by 5 card size, and you can make a coordinating envelope with the envelope punch board. Next is the watercolor layer. I'm going to add quite a bit of snail on this because there is just a little bit of warping. Okay, and that goes right there. Next, we're going to add in the die cuts. And if I would have been smart, I would have used the adhesive sheets. This would have been perfect. And I can't get my glue to work. Okay, let's try this again. I had a class a couple days ago and I haven't picked up yet, and my fine tip glue pen is actually in another room. But like I said, I think the adhesive sheets would be the best thing to use with something so skinny because the glue would be right on it. Okay, and this is amazing. And then you. And then all we have left to do is to add the glitter and clear epoxy. Now it's hard for me to show this to you. Let me see if I can get a piece of cardstock. There's some round shapes on there, and then there's little teardrops also. So those would be cute to put like on flowers. I'm just going to add a couple of those. And it looks like there's two sizes. Let me see, I'm going to add one right up here. Okay, I just lost it. Let's grab another one. What's really neat about these, the color peeks through them. They're clear and the color peeks through. I'm sure I'll find the other one on one of my fingers when I'm done. Okay, and there's the third one right there. So again, to review, we embossed the butterfly. We used the window sheet to cover it so that we could spray around it. Sprinkled the new Brusho around for the color, and then we colored in the butterfly. I hope you like my card today, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this new Brusho. I'm going to play some more with it, and I'll have some more cards to show you. Thanks for stopping by.